Hello, my friends in Flosstube land. This is Sylvia with Running with Needles and Scissors, and I am here to do another video to update you on the retreat I went to, which was so good, and the adventures we had with that. Sorry about the ding dong. And also my new releases. So I'll do those first, and then we'll get to some fun stuff. I'm not separating my, a release video. They actually get very little, much lower views than my other videos, but just gonna do them real quick, just so you can see them live. I really do want you to see them live. It makes a difference as to, photos versus what they actually look like. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But first, I want to say thank you to all of you who watched the last video where I went over my teaching pieces and I got the date wrong. I got the day right, the month wrong. Today would be the last day to sign up for the Tiny Housewife with the Queen City Sampler Guild. I did post a correction, evidently this was going, but this was not. So my apologies. Same with Bobby Norris out of Houston with her beading. I did post her contact info on the Instagram post where I posted some corrections. Anyways, hot mess as usual, and I apologize. It was a lot of fun to read your comments though, and it was fun to be back and doing this again. I think about it a lot, honestly. And then, once the camera goes on, I think about what I'm going to say and topics I'm going to cover, and then I turn on the camera and yeah, it's all blank and kind of, not there anymore. Anyways, we'll see how we do today. All right, my friends, let's really quickly cover the releases. I'm gonna have a sip of my hot tea. Don't you love this cup? It is from Vera Bradley. It's a log cabin quilt, and it's kind of a little ridgy. Now, let's squirrel a little bit. When I got this one, and there's another one with dogs on it because, I have to have all the dog stuff. It said in there's a little paper in there, it's like hand wash only. And I was wondering why my other cups would fade so bad. I'm like, these are not, after a couple weeks, they're kind of faded. Well, you're not supposed to put them in the dishwasher. Learn something new, hand wash. I'm diligently hand washing my cup now. All right. I stood here contemplating, should I put a lid on this or not? And then common sense won out because without a doubt, I'd probably knock it over. So I'm gonna put it down here on the floor. All right, so market, Nashville Needlework Market, just a few weeks away. My sweet man is downstairs working with the printer, printing. We've taken the printing in-house now. And it's been a little bit of a learning curve and a struggle. The printer isn't, who's winning? We don't know yet, us or the printer. We've had to switch it out once already. Epson's been great. They had the new printer here a day after they said, we'll send you a new one. But this one's also acting up, and I'll be on the phone with them tomorrow again. And let's see if we can't get this resolved. I'm gonna take off my phone. Okay. All right, well, I hope everybody had a really good Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day. I decided to take a break from the insanity and cook a lovely meal. It wasn't too bad in terms of time commitment. I think it took me 4 hours, maybe something like that. But it was really delicious. If you don't follow rhubarb and lavender, if you love to cook, if you don't follow them. But it's fun anyways. It really visually, it's really appealing. So rhubarb and lavender on Instagram posts the most delicious recipes, really. And for the most part, they're very approachable. Some of them I wouldn't do, but a lot of them I'm like, oh, I wish I could run into the kitchen. So I did their entire Valentine's Day. It said Valentine's feast for a hobbit. Am I a hobbit? I don't know yet. But it was delicious. Everything except the cheesecake. I wasn't super thrilled about. It's a very, do I say sophisticated taste? I don't know. It was a London fog Basque cheesecake. Now I love Basque cheesecake, and if you haven't had a Basque cheesecake or made a Basque cheesecake, it is the easiest thing in the world, and I highly recommend it. So I said, a Basque cheesecake with Earl Grey. What could be better? Well, a lot of things could be better, honestly. So I love Earl Grey. This just wasn't wasn't my thing. Anyways, okay. Now that we squirreled, we're going to come back to my releases. You can see a little here and of course a little there, but that's not a release. Okay, so the first one is a collaboration that Robin with Old Willow Stitchery. She's another fellow Ohio designer, and I've known Robin for a while, and last year I said something like, wouldn't it be fun to do a collaboration? And she's like, yes. Well, so Robin is pretty much predominantly a reproductionist, a great reproductionist for that matter. And so then I was sitting there going, well, so what do you do as a collaboration with a reproductionist? And we were fortunate enough to find 2 samplers by the same girl, almost the same size. And so Robin got one and I got one, and we reproduced them and we stitched them, and then we decided to make a sampler satchel. So here goes. I'll hold them up together. And you guys know I'm an Adam and Eve fan, so that was perfect for me. These are the samplers by Mary Greenup. She stitched these in 1841. It's stitched on 46 count cookie dough. My husband did the framing, which I'm so grateful for. And we used a combo of Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Arts. And I think they turned out fantastic. Now the antiques are pretty beige, except for the greens, really. Yeah, I'd have to look at them again. Anyway, so there was a little bit of guesswork, but I think they turned out fantastic, and I'm sure Mary would recognize her samplers. We decided, like I said, to make a satchel to go along with it. So here is, it has a little bit of styrofoam in it so that it has bulk to it, is the satchel. My dear friend Jan finished the satchel for us, and we stitched the samplers for the satchel on 36 count. This is big enough to put your project in. We made little stitch tabs, which I think are so cute. Let me turn them around. So 2 different things, hard to see. A little closer. There you go. There you go. And and then it pulls closed, which I won't do right now. But the fabric is still available at Fat Quarter Shop. So it's not like you can't get it anymore. Here's the inside. You can see the rolls of. So here's the inside. This is a Tim Holtz. So we just put it together. This little blue is no longer available, but this type of fabric is not hard to find. Anything reproduction with, a beige a background and kind of navy, tealish blue print would look great. Finishing instructions are provided. So the deal with this is that this is a market exclusive, and we'll print a certain amount as a booklet where both samplers are in it and the finishing instructions for the satchel and so on, all included in the booklet. Once the booklet sells out, each sampler then has to be bought separately from each designer. And in my pattern, I can't speak for Robin, but my pattern, the finishing instructions will be available via QR code, so you can download those. But it is pretty simple to sew. I think we were thorough with our instructions, and I made one following the instructions to show and demonstrate, because we're teaching this at market. So anyways, okay, Mary Greenup's Samplers and Satchel, a collaboration between Robin from Old Willow Stitchery and myself. And I will have to say, I had a lot of fun doing it. Robin was lovely to work, and still is lovely to work with, And yeah, it was smooth, very, very smooth. So really loved it. Okay, while we're in the reproduction area, let's grab Anne Atwell. So here is Anne. Anne is giving us a fit in terms of printing, but we'll figure it out. The printer just doesn't like this big of a file. It goes bananas. It should not do that. So like I said, tomorrow we'll be on the phone with Epson again. Okay, so Anne Atwell, she stitched this. The antique is pristine. And it's as pretty on the front as it is on the back. She was an expert, and she was 16 when she stitched it. What I loved were the birds. I mean, the birds just got me, and that weeping tree over the birds, and the birds on right here. And I thought this was very interesting. There's the verse over one, of course, and I have two little birds on the side, and on that side over one. Stitched with a combination of, let me be careful. This is Gloriana and NPI. Maybe 3 Glorianas, I'm not sure, or 2 Glorianas. I can't remember. But anyways, just a few Glorianas to give it some movement, and the rest is NPI. You saw correctly, this is a full eyelet crown. And then these are eyelets, and then we've got a 4-sided alphabet right here. 46 count. My model stitcher, Diane, as always, was matched Anne in terms of neatness and precision. She is stitched on 46 count, I believe, Morning Coffee from Xjubet. Weeks Dye Works straw would be perfect as well, or anything golden brown would work really, really well. So here she is. I love her very much. There is some history on Anne included in the book. Shall I read the verse? I shall. One thing I ask, and wilt thou hear, and grant my soul a gift so dear, wisdom descending from above, the choicest token of thy love. Wisdom betimes to know the Lord, to fear his name and keep his word, to lead my feet in paths of truth, and guide and guard my wandering youth. Well, my wandering youth is over, so, but a very nice, now I'm wandering middle age, or, retirement, going on retirement. Anyway, okay. Really, really love this one. Now, this sampler I found in Tennessee year before last. And I went back last year with the stitched piece and showed the owner, and she was just thrilled to see it. Now, I didn't have history at the time, but it was fun just to show her what I did with that sampler. Okay, next we'll stick still with, it's not a reproduction, but it's inspired by a reproduction. This is How Sweetly They Sing in a Garden of Thy Making. And so Miriam, my friend, got this fantastic reproduction. Oh, I'm hanging off to the side here. Antique sampler. But the entire border, and it's bigger than this, was in satin stitch, and there was more satin stitch. So you would be satin stitching until the cows come home. And I really didn't want to change it. So I made an adaptation or an inspiration. Really, it's much more of an inspiration than an adaptation because it's not even close. There are lots of elements in here from that sampler, and the border mimics the sampler. But I also reproduced the antique, and you can, if you so want to, you can stitch it or take a look at it via QR code that is included in the pattern. This is stitched on NPI, with NPI, excuse me, and some silken color. And I think this one has the three silken colors. The rest is NPI. And then it's stitched on all the things by Mystic Fabrics. And it's gorgeous fabric. If you haven't tried some of her neutrals, you're missing out. She does beautiful fabrics. All right, let me find a spot for it right here. Now to some not so reproduction stuff. Well, actually, Not true. Not true. These little guys, I don't know how I can hold them. Yeah. Okay, well, you get the gist. 1, 2, and 3. We're calling these petites fleurs because that means it's French. You know, sometimes, ooh la la, we have to just be fancy. It means little flower show, and that's exactly what these are. These do come from an antique, and the antique will be out at some point. That's all I can say. There we go. So these are stitched over 1 on 28 count Lugana, the color wheat, and I used NPI. And when I was about 3/4 done, I thought, you know, I wonder why I used NPI. I could have used DMC because DMC is fabulous, and it would have looked fabulous with DMC. Okay, so you decide what you want to do. Now these frames are from Hobby Lobby. They're still available. Every time I go to Hobby Lobby, I run in there and check that the frames are still there, and they are. They're at one of the end caps in the frame department. Every other week they're half price, so they're really reasonable to buy. I, of course, did the coloring on them, and all that is in the pattern on how to do it. It's super easy. If you know me, I don't have time to fuss muss. You know, things have to go like be foolproof and easy, and this is very, very easy to do. Okay, so here you go. Petite Fleurelie. Very fun. It's getting a little washed out. The colors are a little bit brighter than what you're seeing, but not too much. So I had fun stitching these. I love over 1 and just seeing this come to life. And I really have to say, excuse me, stitching over 1 on 28 count is a breeze, as long as you know how to do it properly. You know, I've been planning to film how to stitch over 1 the way I do it forever, and I can't figure out it wouldn't be a floss tube if something didn't fall down. I have to say that every time. My floss tube. It wouldn't be my floss tube unless something falls down. It is fine. It has survived the fall onto the carpet just fine. Okay. Anyways, so I wanted to do a video on how I do the over 1. I don't think it's much different than anybody else's, but there are a few tips and tricks that make it easy. I use the sewing method most of the time. Works beautifully. So maybe I'll pull it off one day if I can figure out how to get the camera or my iPad to work properly. All right, another sip. Okay, if you're wondering about the crazy hair, I tried a new product today that's supposed to make it curly. And I think I can give up hope because this is as good as it's going to get. Met a lady today that does hair though, and she was like, oh, you know, I'll cut your hair this way. And I'm like, hey, I'll try it once. So I have an appointment to get my hair cut a little bit. And I might show up with real curls. I used to have real curls. All right, what is next? Okay, so for all the patriotic frenzy, I designed this piece. It was just really, you know, one time Kitten Stitcher said, Teresa said, like, some things you work really hard at and some things they just, you know, like fall onto the page. And this really just fell onto the page. Anyways, it's called America the Beautiful. Now, that was the only hard part is, you know, getting something down there that fit and was appropriate. And yeah, I say we, it was Miriam and I, we went round and round and round and round, but here it is. America the Beautiful. It has our founding date up here. I didn't want to put our 250th anniversary on here, but there's plenty of stuff coming out with it. You could add it if you wanted to. You could just scoot this down a little bit and put, you know, the date, the thing. In May, I have a few things coming out that are more anniversary specific, but I just love this. My friend Miriam stitched it for me. She stitched it on Biscuit by Seraphim, 40 count. and we used mostly Crescent Colorworks, but I think a little bit of Gentle Art and some DMC. So I think most of this down here, the greens, maybe not that one, but a lot of it is just DMC. I didn't want it to get too busy. So here it is, America the Beautiful, and she is. And though I may hold dual citizenship, I do love this country quite a bit. I think it is in comparison to many countries, and I've traveled quite a bit, not as much as many, but more than some, and I've seen many countries. We are so very blessed. All right, and the last one is the continuation of the night series. So this is date night, and I think it's just so cute. The only over one are these little birds. My son's girlfriend stitched this. She's a new stitcher, and she did so great. And when she saw the over one birds, she was like, oh, I don't know. And I just looked at her and I said, don't you want to challenge yourself? And she said, yeah, I do. And so she stitched them, and she did perfect. Aren't they cute? Anyway, so date night, stitched on 36 count Glam by Kitten Stitcher. There is Late Night, which is the patriotic one. Could be great for this season. And there is Skate Night, which is a winter scene, and I love it so very much. And Jana Millen stitched the Late Night one. I stitched the Great Night one. Excuse me, the Skate Night. Jana Millen stitched the Skate Night. I stitched the Great Night. And there is another one designed and ready to go. That's the last one in the series. It's a fall theme, and it's called Late Night, and it'll be out in August. And then we're done with that. And last but not least, I don't know if I ever showed this. This was an anniversary piece for the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild that I did. It's called Stitched Together, and it's a mattress, and it's done on 40 count chinchilla, which is a relatively new color for Zweigart. And it's all weeks dye works. And let's see, where do we start? Right here. So it says, from near and far, we are stitched together. And then, of course, the model has the Tudor Rose stuff, but I've recharted, and so in the pattern, it's more dedicated to a friend. And you'll get the full alphabet and all the numbers and the new chart with it. And this was stitched by Lori Brady of the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild, and she made this little pin to go with it, and I thought it was a fantastic idea, and I have incorporated it with finishing instructions. So there you go. Those are the releases. I'm really very excited about it. I tend not to squeal or go, I don't know, but I am excited about these. And I'm looking forward to market. It should be really good. Yeah, and like I said, we are just doing battle with the printer, and hopefully we'll get it sorted out. And, you know, I'm not going to be more gray-haired than I am already by the time I show up at market. All right, friends. And now let's talk about the Royal Retreat by the Sampler Guild of the Rockies. Wow, wow, wow. If you're following me on Instagram, which is Running with Needles and Scissors, or you can just Google or search my name in there, Sylvia Stecker, and it'll come right up. You will have noticed that, or you will have, I don't know how to say it. Well, you're in the know, there you go, that, you know, it was not a fun trip to and fro. We got stuck in Dallas. You know, we left at, 7 o'clock in the morning, on time, no problem, landed an hour early. And I was looking at Jen when we landed, and I said, and we were in first class too, so we got gypped. Anyways, wanted another hour in first class. I do get upgraded at times, when it works out, so that's nice. Anyways, we landed, and the pilot says, we're here an hour early, and we got to wait a little bit to get to the gate. And I'm like, an hour early? does that happen from Dayton to Dallas? You know, you shaved off an hour. Okay, maybe we had tailwind. And so then we got off and we had a little bit of a wait anyways there. We weren't leaving. So we came in at 8 something and we weren't leaving until 1:30, somewhere around there. And I had already checked to see if I was allowed to bring guests into the USO, and I was. So Jen and I moseyed over to the USO and we hung out there, and they're just fabulous. What a fabulous organization. And I have made use of the USO time and time again. And then, so it was time, and we kept monitoring the gate, and it was changing. And finally I said, maybe this will hold. Let's go over there. And so we took the tram to wherever it was in D, and Terminal D, and got on the plane, on time. We're like, oh, this is going so well. And we're all loaded, ready to go. And the captain comes on. He's like, oh, we have a small problem. The coupling is cracked. It's where they hook the little pushback cart onto your plane. And they had to get maintenance out there, to see if they could replace it. So, we sit, and then maintenance comes, and it's like, yeah, no, we got to get everybody off the plane because we're going to jack the plane up. And if anything's on the plane, it'll just sit on its rear, which would have been an interesting experience. But okay, so we got off, luggage came off, everything came off. And they said, well, we don't know how long that's going to take, so we're going to look for a new plane. And they, came up with a new plane, and it was 2 gates down. So we went 2 gates down. The plane came in, people got off, they cleaned it. We got on, loaded. And then the pilot comes on and says, well, I hate to tell you this, we got a small hydraulic leak in the front. We're going to have maintenance come and check it out. So maintenance came and checked out. And then he's like, well, we're going to have the main maintenance dude come and check it out. And so the main man came and he's like, everybody off. This plane's going nowhere. We're like, oh, in the meantime, our original plane has been repaired and has left. It's gone somewhere. And we're like, no. So off we go again. And we're sitting. And they're like, we're looking for a plane. And they also made an announcement like, don't even come up here and ask to get rebooked. There is nothing available today. And tomorrow, they only had 1 seat for the whole day available to Colorado Springs. And so, yes, by the way, we were going to Colorado Springs. I probably forgot to mention that. And so, Jen and I, we looked at each other. It's like, well, if we don't get out today, then we'll just have them rebook us back to Dayton, which was going to be such a bummer. But, what do you want to do? So they said, yes, we found a new plane. It's coming in from Belize. And so it'll be a minute before it clears customs and all that. But it's on the other end of the terminal. So head on over there. And we walked. It was a long way to the other end of the terminal. And I actually got my steps in that day, which usually doesn't happen when I travel. And there we sat and waited, and the plane came finally, and we got on, and it was a new crew, because when I got off, I checked with, I think his name was Valentino, and I said, Valentino, my man, are you going to time out? And he's like, well, probably not, and, I think we can get there, but I was like, oh, great, because the last time I went to DFW, one of the big problems we had is that our crew kept timing out, and we couldn't go anywhere. And so we had a new crew, fresh, and I was like, hey, I hope this... When I got on, I was like, hey, I hope this is a good plane. I don't want to get off again. And so finally, yes, we did leave. I was texting Katrina, telling her what was going on, and we left. So we got there at 8 and we left 5:45 in the evening. Yeah, it was a long day sitting in the airport. And so then we got to Colorado Springs, grabbed us an Uber and headed for the hotel, and they were so great. And they just said, the lady at the desk, who was fantastic, said, here, I'm going to grab your luggage. You go and eat right now, because it's still there. This retreat included all the food. And so I had texted Katrina, because we got the menu, and I said, hey, just save us a piece of cheesecake. And she said, I will, but they saved us the whole buffet. And so we got to eat a very good dinner and some cheesecake. and join the rest of our fellow retreaters in the main room for stitching and fellowship. And there were actually 2 other people on our plane that were going to this retreat, and it was Nisi Lynn. If you know Nisi Lynn, what a hoot she is. It was nice meeting her in person. And Pammy Bammy, I don't know if I'm getting that right. Anyways, both lovely ladies. And so we had dinner together and then went to our tables. At the retreat, I got to sit with Vicky, Needlework Press, and Janine McGowan, the Blue Flower, which was fun to get to know her a little better because our paths really haven't crossed. She's very cool, very, very cool. And then there were a couple other people. There was a gal from Washington named Tristan, and I had the best time with her chatting. It was very fun. We laughed a lot. The whole table laughed a lot. It was great. Now, as to the project, holy cow. Okay, let's get started because I know you don't want to hear all the blah blah, I'm sure, but yeah, let's start with the project. So this was a surprise project from none other than the very, very talented Paulette from Plum Street Sampler. I'm sure everybody and their sister and brother has seen her patriotic piece called True Patriot or something like that. Yeah. Okay. I told Teresa Kitten Stitcher that Paulette was going to put a strain on the American paper supply because everybody probably wants that chart, or most everybody, not everybody, but most everybody, including me. Okay, let's take a look. And I did post the model on my Instagram, but it was, it's so good. It's so good. Look at this. Can you see it without the glare? It's so, so good. Let me read you what it says. The Lord in his grace offers wisdom to me. Wisdom is a little bit of a theme today, isn't it? Place its crown on my head, Lord. I ask this of thee. I love it. Now, this comes fully kitted with everything. Wow. Let's comb these unruly rascals. Yep, there it is. Or let's flip them around so you can see all the colors. So very cool. What is the linen? 36 count hog bristle. Here are all the threads included. Man, okay. Big kit, not just a little kit, a big kit. Oh wait, there's more. Oh, thread drops. Oh, I love them. You hate to destroy and punch holes in this. These are so fun. Okay, and as far as I know, there was a pattern for a little, let me see. I didn't get a picture of it, but there was a pattern for a little pin cushion as well. And I'm gonna peek in here and see if there's any way I can show it, if there's a photo or not. I didn't get it on. I didn't take a picture of it. There's Matilda barking. She's downstairs. No. Okay, sorry. So I need to give up sleep so I can also stitch a few other things. So that was the first thing. Of course, they had goodies on our table. I'll show you now, but this may be traumatic for some of you. I had brought them in here and laid them down, and when I came back, there were shreds. So, just warning. I'll show what I can. Some of it was shredded. We won't name any names, but she's got curly hair. Way curlier than mine. Okay, so, this is what I found. I did not find one wrapper. There was chocolate. I did not find one wrapper. She ate it with the wrapper on. And yes, I know chocolate is not for dogs. I understand. She seems to be fine. I mean, she's like, I'm getting the chocolate. So that tells me now that chocolate has to be put up. It used to be I could put it down and she never touched it, and all of a sudden it was the thing. Okay. Oh, this was full of chocolate, which was an emotional support bag in case of frogging. Oh, goodness. Okay, we got this lovely, I got this lovely pad, and look at the fun, which goes with this one, pen. This came from Patty, I believe. There was a golden notebook. Hold. Let's see. This was also, I know, on the table. It looked much better. Look at the, yeah, she was trying to get in there, and she must have heard something and gave up. There are peacemaker needles. There's hand lotion because Colorado is so dry. There's lip balm. Yeah, you can see what happened to that, but I think it's still usable. Very cool, very fun. And then from, oh, where did I put Kimberly? Kimberly Bartowski made this great, oh, here it is. So Kimberly Bartowski, I hope I pronounced your name right, made this great little scissor fob. Look at that crown at the bottom. I know it's hanging a little crooked. Let's straighten it out. Straighten the crown. There you go. Very fun. Really sparkly crown. And then from Patty Penn. Oh, I don't know if this was from Patty Penn. I don't know. I can't remember. You know, my intention was to write people's names down. Whoever gave this to me, pink is my absolute favorite color. I love it. And the dog did not chew it up. And then we got a little bit of a bling from Patty. So fun. She must have cats. Her name is Patty Penn. Stitching with my kitties must be her Flosstube. And then there's a project card. 2 project cards. Also with the kitty cats. There we go. Very nice. All right. Well, so those were the goodies. Then project number 2 in this slightly crushed bag was from the so talented and always gracious Judy from JBW. And this is a royal round. So fun. And you know, Judy does over 1. And right away I said, they made it so you could stitch it over 2, but I'm like, I'm stitching it over 1. But then thinking about things, I reconsidered. It goes on this, which is being produced by Willoughby Ann. This is very cool. And I think in order to see all the fun things that are on this, you may want to have it over 2. So I think I'm stitching it over 2. There's linen. And, whew, so fun. The Weeks Threadworx, and it's Chablis and Begonia. Very pink, very fun. I'm all about it. All right, so that was Friday night. Saturday, after a very substantial breakfast, it was Vicky's turn from Needlework Press, and that sampler blew my socks off, and I think my socks are still in Colorado, as a matter of fact. It was fantastic. She called it 4 fields because there were 4 distinct areas in that sampler. It was a Welsh sampler. We got a little history lesson. It was so fascinating. And it came in this fabulous box, which we flattened. I say we, Jen and I, flattened for the trip back. But, and you might wonder where my trusty sidekick Miriam was. She could not go. and she wanted to so badly, but she was getting ready for another trip and she needed to make sure that she was there for it. And I totally understand, but we missed her terribly because she's always so much fun to go with. Anyway, so everything was packaged beautifully in the box. This is the sampler. I'm telling you, let me see if I can do this a little bit better then. Okay, there it is. Holy cow. It's just so beautiful. I love it just the way it is. I love the colors. I love the composition. You can see the church with the ship on top. Ann Roberts, I believe, is the name from Hands Across the Sea. Has the same church on it or a similar church. But just so fun. Gotta love the humpback sheep over there. There's another one. They must have had humps. Gotta love the little bunny, the cow, the deer in shock. I don't know. It's so fun. The little house, the big house. Windmill. I mean, it's got all the things. It really does. The beautiful rose border. I love that it doesn't go all the way around. I love this. Okay. And of course, a picture can't do the model justice. This is the big honkin' amount of floss. Yeah, fabulous. And let's see. We had our choice of linen, 40 count, 36 count, and I took 40 count, of course. Hold on, Yanni. What linen is it? I can't see. I mean, I can. I do not know. I know they said at the retreat, but I am not finding it. Oh, let's look at it again. This is the computer generated thing. It should be here somewhere. Anyways, okay. I don't know, but I think, oh, up in the attic. Now that I see it, has a little bit of a pinkish cast, and it's, yeah, it's a full sheet. It's a full fat half. Oh, wish I had the time to start this now. So that was Saturday morning. And then they passed out goodies. Let's see here. In this little bag, there still is. Maisie was not interested in this, thank God. A mother of pearl thread board, ever so petite. Oh, it's so pretty. From Jackie Duplessis. Oh, can you see the crown? Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Okay. And we got a little something from 5 Times Blessed. She always teaches at summer school. And she made a little something. Okay. Oh, let's open. Very fun. Very sweet. That's a little zipper pull. Ooh, check it out. So cute. Anyways, really lovely. And in the afternoon, it was Janine McGowan's turn. And she came up with something, let me tell you. Is it here? Yes. It was passed out in this red bag. gave up trying to get the thing undone. And did I get everything out? Yes, I believe so. Anyways, again, photos on my Instagram. The Judy one, I did not. I was a loser. I didn't get it done. But anyways, so this is the Stitcher's Crown Drum. Check that out. And you can see down here, if I can get it without the glare, everything that this drum entails. And it is this, I mean, it's a big drum. You could, if it was hollow, it would go on your head. And we got all the finishing stuff from Lady Dot. And of course, the full kit. And some variegated DMC, which I took a look at it on the drum. It looks great, really great. The linen may not look like much, you know, folded up so sedately in the bag, but just to give you an idea how big this thing is. Yeah, you're gonna fill this and then make a drum out of it. And it's huge. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah. Anyways, very fun, very creative, and super, super impressive, I have to say. See, it just folds down into this very sweet little square. So fun. So the tomato, I know you can see that it's variegated. That's the variegated DMC. Really, really cool. And then there's a green, I believe, and I don't quite know where she used that. Maybe on the green. Could very well be. Rocket science. Okay. Then on Sunday, is it here? On Sunday, yes. It was Samplers Not Forgotten by Kimberly Nugent. And, you know, she is famous for her beautiful kits. And that is what we got. We got a little Tussie Mussy kit. Isn't that fun? Just gorgeous. With everything to do it and some lavender to boot. So if we wanted to make it smell good, we could. Very fun. And on Sunday also, and I can't really show it, we got a never released pattern from the work basket that absolutely works. It was perfect for the retreat. I'm going to just flash it. And we got the silk to stitch it with. It's a red sampler. Okay, nobody saw it, but there I was. And that was the retreat. It was amazing. It was so much fun. So funny story. There were a couple of pop-up shops, and I'll show you. Here we go. I'm sitting on it, which is always good. There was Stacy, and what I didn't know is she took over from Socks from Mom Becky on making beautiful dangles and such. So I got these two, and my friend Sweet Jen, who I was traveling with, gifted me one, and it's packed somewhere. Anyways, so very, very fun. She had really lovely things. And then, I can't remember her name. She did bags. Pristine, beautifully made bags. And so I got a vinyl front bag with a thread bed. Look at that beautiful floral. Oh, I've tried making vinyl. I'm just going to show you the corners. I mean, just exactly. And this is a pattern. I forget who it was, but somebody has a pattern out for this. And so this is super cool. Look at that. And look at the beautiful fabric. Oh my gosh. It's quilted straight, if you can see it. Yeah, and it's nice and cushy. And then the zipper is like a U. Do you see that? It's just one zipper. And here is the inside fabric. And funny enough, this is the fabric for my tiny housewife. And I used that. So this is Dahlia, I believe, by Laundry Basket. But I didn't use this one. I used this print and a couple others. Oh, so pretty. And then, oh, remember last time I complained about empty bags, empty projects? There's more. We'll talk about that at some point. And the other pop-up shop was Cross Stitch Corner. She's gonna kill me. Shelly. Okay. Oh, shame. I picked up this. I'd not seen them in person. These fun. Let me take it out of the bag. Bags by Lori Holt. They're huge. And of course, it's strawberries, so I had to have it. And zipper on top, and then the bottom is boxed. So there is just room for tons of stuff. There we go. See that? It's really big and very fun and very sturdy. And a little bit, you know, PU, what is that called? Polyurethane. Smells a little, but it'll air out. Okay. So that shop owner, so fun, so lovely. We were sitting at the dinner table talking at the second dinner, and she, when I was standing there at her shop talking to her at her pop-up shop, which was really lovely, she knew I was a designer. And then over dinner, she asked me, she goes, so what is your, you know, design name? And I said, I'm running with needles and scissors. And she's like, oh my God, I love your stuff, which, you know, is always good to hear. And she's, and your logo, I love your logo. And so I told her a quick story about how I got my logo, la, la. And she said, it's so funny, at least for me. She said, I love your logo so much that I took your sign from Market. And we have door signs. They stick out. They're attached with magnets on the metal part of the door, and they just stick out like road signs, right? And I just looked at her, and I was like, you took my sign. I said, I was looking for my sign. So every year, I just assumed that Needlework retailer just, because they come through and take all the signs, and I thought they kept the signs, and they didn't. They threw them away. Well, last year, I happened to be doing something walking down the hall, and I saw the signs in the trash can, or at least one trash can had a number of signs in it on our floor. And I was like, oh, I'll go through it and see if I can find my sign. That'd be so cool. So I went through, didn't find my sign, but I found Shelly's sign, and I found everybody else's sign, just not my sign. And I'm like, how could I don't understand. So I went to the next trash can. I'm like, well, maybe it got thrown in the next one to the left. And so I went to the trash can to the left, everybody's sign, but not mine. I went to the trash can further to the right, and still nothing. And I was like, I don't understand. I grabbed Shelly's sign for her, and I couldn't get a hold of her, and I stuck it on her car. I hope she got it, because I never heard. But, because she really wanted her sign. Anyway, so I was like, I said, I went to Miriam and I said, so weird. I said, my sign, everybody's signed, but not mine. And so I think her name is Sherry or Shelly. She was laughing because she said, I probably beat you by 2 minutes. So my sign isn't, somebody loved my sign so much that they took it. But this year I told her to leave it alone because I really wanted it. So anyways, small world, always a small world. Okay, now 2 more things and then we're done. When I was dyeing fabric for the birthday sampler, and it's so far in the past, I forgot to thank everybody who bought it. Really lovely. For a while, I had my receipt printed out. I was able to donate 800 wait, I believe it was 800 to Answers International. I matched, so it was 400 that I donated off the proceeds, and then I matched it. Anyways, thank you so much for your generosity. And interest, of course. I dyed fabric for the kits, and the 36 count, the first time I dyed 36 count, I got some spots on it. Like the dye did not dissolve properly. And so I just reordered fabric and redid it, but then I actually re-dyed this fabric something completely different, and I just loved the way it came out. And I should have brought a piece up, but I didn't, of the 36 count. That's all I have. There was one piece of 40 count that had spots on it, so I re-dyed the 40 count. And this is the 36, wrinkles, of course, because it's been traveling. This is the 40 count. The 36 count is a little bit more towards the blue-green, and really beautiful. So what is this in the corner? I've had this pattern for a while, and I thought this is the perfect fabric for this. And like I said, I still have I have some pieces, I don't know how many, probably 6 pieces maybe of 36 count that I'll pop onto the website at some point. If you're following me on Instagram, it'll be on there. And I also have a few pieces of, I believe, 36 count for the birthday sampler Maria Lambert that I will also pop on the website. It's a great neutral color. You don't have to use it for that sampler, but anyways. Okay, so this is Lake House by my friend Becky Nolan. And what a beautiful patriotic design it is. I meant to have a little bit more done. My plan, plan that never holds is like, I'll do 1 thread a day. Yeah, okay, this is 4 threads. Backwards. Here you go. So I started it. It's just the perfect fabric. And what threads did I use? Not the called for. There's only one that's the called for. It's just a combo of what was in what, I looked at stuff and said, this will work, this will work, this will work. These are predominantly color and cotton and Victorian motto flosses. They're just hanging out in my drawer doing nothing. And I thought they might earn their keep. So let's hold it up with them. And the only one that is called for is the fudge ripple. I just really couldn't find anything that was even remotely close. Now, I want to say something just to encourage you. Don't be shy. If you don't like a color, switch it out. If you don't want to buy a whole set, use what you got. I will tell you that the actual model doesn't look like the picture. Almost never ever. I mean, hey, if you're a designer and watching this, raise your hand if you get really accurate photos. It's just really, really hard to do. You either get the fabric pretty good and then your flosses aren't quite right, or you get your flosses pretty good and your fabric isn't right at all. The camera picks up modeling like nobody's business. It likes to highlight all the modeling. So sometimes a fabric looks really modeled and it's not really to the naked eye. I mean, it just goes on and on. And I think nothing wrong with wanting to have it like the photo. I'm just saying that in reality, the photo isn't even the way the model looks. And be adventurous. You'd be surprised what you come up with. I love when people change things, when they modify, they do their own thing. I think it's great. And, me as a designer, I will tell you honestly, I don't have a degree in color. I just lay stuff out and go, yeah, that looks good. That looks nice. I like it. I run it by a few people, trusted people. And, it's not always, they don't always give me the thumbs up. They're like, eh. And, and I may work on it a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I don't have a degree in color theory. It's stitching. have fun with it. Do your own. I really encourage you to do your own thing. I think it always turns out great. Okay, so much for that. Anything else that I wanted to talk about? No. That's it. So maybe just to recap what I love, what I'm seeing at market. And of course, I know no titles mostly, and I don't have time to put in photos right here. This will not be happening, but you can go to any, hobby house, Garon Stitchery, 123 Stitch. They've listed a lot. I love the Coneflowers by Janine Blue Flower. It's so good. It's so good. We already talked about Paulette's piece. Yes. Jeanette Douglas came out with a few. I love the Patriotic House one, and I love the box one, and I love the spool that was exclusive for Homespun. So those are a definite yes for me. Queenstown Sampler, there's one that Ellen Chester stitched. I don't know the name. It's got roses on it. Yes, totally. It's so beautiful. There was a collaboration of like a cookie jar, which isn't my thing, but it has cookies on it, and the patriotic cookies. And I do not know what that series is called, but it was done by, the patriotic cookies are done by Wildflower Stitching, I think. Ooh, don't go big. Anyways, really great. I'm like, hey, let's do them on 46 count and make refrigerator magnets out of them. That would be my idea to do it that way. What else? Oh, there was so much. Shakespeare's Peddler, Kitten Stitcher. Of course, the Christmas thing is out. Absolutely yes, 100 times, 1,000 times. Yes, on that. There were a few others that I thought were great from her. And Fox and Rabbit stuff is out. Love the one on the dark fabric, whichever that one is. You guys are going. I should have written down the names, but I haven't even made my list yet. I'm just looking. Stacey Nash hasn't released hers. Teresa Kogut has a few. Really love that Black Santa like everybody else, or the Dark Santa. I'm trying to think what else I saw. Okay, well, long enough list. Anyways, so yes, we're just steaming towards market. It'll be there before we know it. The only, back to what's dominating in my life, the only pre-order item date I have is for the collaboration, since these will be printed booklets, and we do sort of have to have an idea of where we're going. So that cutoff is February 24th. So if you're interested in that, please let your LNS know. Everything else, I don't have a pre-order cutoff, since I'm pretty flexible on that. But that is it for today. Thank you for listening to my Dog and Pony show, and hopefully not getting distracted by the wild hair. And yes, I've dropped something again, so we're good to go. All right, friends, I hope you're having a good time. You're stitching your little heart out. You're making your list for market. And I might see you before, or I'll definitely see you right after. All right. God bless you. And we'll see you then in 2-3 weeks, something like that. All right. Bye.